Well, you know what? I want to switch to a topic number two with you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You have a very unique grasp on the economy, in my opinion. I like owning my mistakes. I thought after Silicon Valley Bank crashed and I was seeing true consumers scared, i.e., conserving cash, I thought Q2 of 2023 would be the start of a recession. I was wrong. I am looking out on the horizon and I'm not sure that I currently see a recession in the next 12 months. We'll even say 15 months. So we'll say all of 2024. I know a recession's coming because they are a natural part of the economic cycle.
Yep.
So they haven't cured that. It's going to happen. But Jason, when you look in your crystal ball, do you see us heading towards a classic recession sometime between now and the end of 2024?
Well, when you look at what the Fed's doing, it sure looks like we're going to have one. I mean, and look, we can have a recession without having a housing crash.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
not the same thing, okay?
We've
They
had
could
plenty
they
of
could be
recessions.
combined, but not
Yeah.
necessarily, right? It
Yeah.
depends. So the Fed is certainly trying to push us into a recession. I'll tell you that much. They are trying to increase unemployment. They are trying to slow the economy way down to slow inflation. But given the timing of the election and just all of the other factors, and the fact that inflation has been so stubborn, they've managed to cut it a bit, but it's still pretty sticky. I think this is giving the Fed a little more leeway to try and engineer that wanted soft landing, as it were, right?
Sure.
If it were, it, if these massive increases, 11 straight rate hikes, or I think we had 11, right? Um, you
11 or
know,
12. Yeah. It's crazy.
Historic increases in interest rates, right? Normally, the economy probably would have reacted more quickly than it did. And so it's really buying them more time to adjust the
Well,
levers.
let's poke at that. In my opinion, what's going on around us is we have a Fed who's clearly trying to put their foot on the brake,
Right.
but we have Congress who are put their foot on the gas, right? All of
Yeah.
these Inflation Reduction Act and all these other spending plans. I mean, like, I got to imagine Jerome Powell's going, "What the hell? Help me out here, guys,"
Yeah.
because it's an interesting battle.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think what they'll do is as soon as we move into recession territory, if not before that, they're going to pivot because the problem they have is pretty serious. They can push more banks into failure mode because
Sure.
these banks, it's really the Silicon Valley Bank story, right? These banks have these hold to maturity assets,
Hmm.
and some of those, not all of them, they were all purchased at different times. So it's a laddered effect, right?
Hmm.
But some of those are costing the bank a fortune and they're making
Sure.
the banks insolvent or pushing them in that direction. So the
Yeah.
longer they keep the rates up, the bigger that problem becomes. So they got to
Hmm.
be careful of that. And just generally speaking, in addition to inflation and the Phillips curve, which is the relationship of unemployment to inflation, as they've also got to worry about the cost of their own debt, the government's
Yeah.
debt. Okay.
Stacking up an
It
interest
is,
charge. Yeah.
I mean, they don't want super high interest rates because it just costs them more money. So the
Yeah.
powers that be, you know, they want to see rates calm down a little bit too. And I think they'll sell out the American people and just let inflation be the problem, because it's the easy part of the business plan. And it's really,
Yeah.
Michael, a good business plan for the government because
Yeah.
when the government owes a lot of debt to foreign countries or to anybody for that matter, they just take advantage of my inflation induced debt destruction strategy,
Yep.
right? They
Hmm.
they inflate away their own debt. So, hey, we owe $1 trillion to China. Okay, if we have 10% inflation in 1 year, 2 years, whatever the time frame, that we get basically $100 billion discount on that debt because we
Right.
we borrowed it at yesterday's dollars, but we pay it back in tomorrow's cheaper dollars. So
Right.
that's a very good deal.
Yeah. It's funny. I created a shirt in 2020 that says, "I use inflation to get rich. Ask me how."
Yeah,
And
that's a good shirt. I wish I
yeah,
would have thought of that. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So again, I got to tell you, inflation's a feature, not a bug. That's another
Yeah.
thing I'm starting to say. It's like,
Good
guys,
point.
it's part of the system.